Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, or living life, or loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. There's a PayPal down below for anybody who wants to share some love in the details section. And of course, the panel stream, or the panel link is there for anybody who wants to join the stream. We're going to talk some more about that insane masculinity going on out there. Homemaker versus homemaker. Male and female both. We have extremes going on. As I mentioned in the previous video, which I'll mention again here, is the basis of all of this is, we have people that came up through the civil rights, demanding the same civil rights as men. This was placating that they didn't think they had the same civil rights in a competitive market. And then, of course, because they were popularized, the women seeing this, they wanted to be part of that. So we had the feminist movement. And then they became part of that and proud of their feminist movement. Then we had the gay rights and Black Lives Matter. Now we got transgender and transhuman. And let's see the effect of the transgender on those feminist rights. See, we got men, XY chromosomes, competing in Olympics, beating the shit out of women in 46 seconds, crying and giving up because they know they're already beat. And that's what you fought for. That's what your feminist rights were for all of this diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so now, because you think you needed to be included and you think it's so fair and equitable to include others, now they've been included. Failure to set the proper bounds as they're already natural set, or recognize natural bounds as they're already set, and allow people to profess that they can menstruate when they can't, it's just insanity. That's masculinity gone the other way. Total loss of masculinity, so much so that you insanely believe that men can menstruate. It's sickening. So let's get into it. Joy Reid hates white people. Let's listen.
Actually criminally prosecute Donald Trump is a Black Harvard grad, and a Black woman is doing that same exact thing in Georgia, and a Black woman forced you to pay a $175 million fine. Donald Trump is being held to account by the very multicultural, multiracial democracy that he's trying to dismantle. And for me, there's something poetic and actually wonderful about that. It says something good.
That he's trying to dismantle. No, I don't think he's trying to dismantle the democracy. I think he's trying to dismantle the fake news and the transgender bullshit and all of that, and make sure people understand that it is a competitive market. See, this is what he did in his term in office when he told the Universal Postal Union, the Postal Congress, that, hey, these other countries need to start stepping up and paying their share. The United States people, the American people, are no longer going to foot the bill for them. We're tired of paying excess in the Postal Congress as it goes to the domestic gross product. We're tired of paying more than our fair share. But of course, that's one of the things that is an obligation and responsibility of one that wants to step up as a one world order.
Good about our country that we're still capable of having that happen.
You see the controversy there, the distinct differences. See, that's what's got to take place for a one world order. They've got to be able to dismantle the democracy to make it communistic. So in order to do that, they have to do so from the internally through the equity or diversity, equity, and inclusion. They've got to include all the insane people in the democracy so that they feel their vote counts, and then hold that vote against them. See what happened with your feminist rights? It's now being held against you because you think it was so fair to be out in the public forum. And you think it's so fair for men to think they can actually be women and menstruate. That's fucking insanity.
Go DEI.
White people, I want y'all to celebrate. I want you to say it is.
Go DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. This is what they're rooting for.
Poetic that it's nothing but white people that's indicting these Negroes. If you are listening to me say that and you feel some type of way, then how do you think it makes sense for a black person to be saying it's all black people that's putting you in prison? Like, lady, you a racist.
The first.
And I feel the same way. I feel the same way. It's indicative of somebody being racist. So let's take a look at this next one.
I'm a fucking state trooper. You don't give me no shit. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get the hook out. It's out.
Put this in context. This kid is fishing at this little pond, and the guy that's coming at him is a state trooper, and he's talking about he's going to shoot the kid over the fish. He's a state trooper. This is masculinity way overbearing. This is not how men are supposed to act. This is insane. And this is the kind of man in this authoritative position.
What are you doing to him?
He's fine.
Get him and get out of here. I'm going to show you something. You see that sign? See him signpost in here? Yeah. I catch you in here. I touch you on my ground. One here. I'll blow your brains out.
To kids, minors. You can tell in this video, even without their face on there, that these are likely minors. This is what you vote for. This is what you stand for when you placate that this system is good for you and your children.
I'm a state trooper, and I'll get away with it.
I'm a state trooper, and I'll get away with it. They're going to rewind it and state it again.
I catch you in here. I touch you on my ground. One here. I'll blow your brains out. I'm a state trooper, and I'll get away with it. That's how I say. Son of a bitch, you going, what's the matter with you guys? There's signs out here. Sorry, there's signs out here. I know you can't read.
No, we can read. We're from the neighborhood across the street.
We just out of here.
We're from the neighborhood across the street. So these are children in his own fucking neighborhood, and he doesn't know them. Isn't that the kind of people that he's supposed to be protecting? And how do you protect them? Again, if you don't know the Constitution, how can you uphold people's rights? If you don't know the people in your neighborhood, how can you protect them? This guy is not out here to protect anybody. He's out here to protect his masculinity and that he's the motherfucking boss, and he'll kill you, and he'll get away with it because he's a state trooper. You insolent fucking bastards. Now this is Phil Ivey. If you're familiar with poker, he's a poker player. And if you think about what we're looking at here, this competitive contracting, these competitive markets, as I was speaking of earlier, this is what it's about. Having the knowledge to understand what's going on before you.
Accuse Ivy of cheating them out of over $20 million while playing Baccarat.
I'm viewing the casino as my opponent. It's my job to try to exploit weaknesses in the house and try to give myself the best opportunity to win.
In the production process,
you have to exploit the weaknesses to give you the best chance to win. This is how you protect yourself. Birth certificate standards fail the very standards required. It is impossible. I could not have been either a resident or a United States business upon enumeration at birth. Exploit the weakness. Create the indemnification. I do, however, have a certificate proving that I was born on the soil, coming from the very people and showing the proper place where I originated as it relates to the state's vital statistics jurisdiction. And everybody that dipped their hands in thinking they had authority. They don't.
Process of cutting casino cards, the cuts of the edges are not identical, making it possible for a trained eye to identify certain cards by their edge design. He asked for several conditions that would enable him to read the back of the cards better, including using a specific
Be able to read the back of the cards better. It becomes a common practice to read cards for a lot of professionals. They are looking for flaws so they can determine and make their chances better. This is a natural activity and it's not cheating.
brand of cards and playing with the same decks of cards for all of his games.
I made a request for a shuffle machine because I wanted the cards to remain in a certain order. I requested an Asian dealer. The Asians deal Punto Banco the most, which is Baccarat. I felt more comfortable with the Asian dealer. My companion was Asian. But she was a part of my strategy, giving me the ability to execute this advantage play of mine. The casinos agreed to every request made. It's a competitive.
They agreed to every request made. That's offer and acceptance. That's contracting 101, folks. So if you are going to gamble, understand it is contract. Think about it. Same thing with life. It's a big gamble. You have to learn how to contract by seeking out the weaknesses so you can use it to your advantage. If it's a weakness for them, hey, what better use for a weakness? That's in fact how they correct their system. They're looking for weaknesses. And if you're not pointing them out, they can't correct their system.
Business. They don't want you coming in there winning their money. They
Two casinos accuse Ivy of cheating them.
2 casinos did it, and they couldn't prove it because he was absolutely right. They agreed to the conditions of the contract. Take a minute real quick here. Remind everybody, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Get those numbers up for me as it relates to people that want to know truth in facts and be able to discern this stuff themselves, as I hope to be able to explain it to you. I hope you can comprehend it. I want to remind you, don't believe me, don't believe the neighbor, don't believe the government. For crying out loud, don't believe your mother. Do your research so you know. And that's all I'm doing here is showing you the different things that I come across and give you my points and views and opinions.
Step out of the car. Step out of the car. Mark, look, send me another unit. He's refused to step out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You're under arrest for obstructing. You're under arrest for obstructing. I told you to step out of the car. I told you once.
What crime did I commit?
You don't have to commit a crime for me to have you step out of the car.
You don't have to commit a crime to have to step out of the car. That's Nazi Germany, folks. At its core. The fuck you mean? I'm one of the people, and you're going to sit there and tell me I don't have to commit a crime for you to tell me to step out of the car? You somehow magically have authority over one of the people? No, you don't.
Give me your other hand. Give me your other hand. Give me your other hand. If you're videotaping, that's fine. I'm videotaping too, man. When I asked you to step out of the car, you're required by law to step out of the vehicle.
No, you are not. That is not as simple as it goes. When you are requested to step out of the vehicle upon reasonable articulable suspicion that you are involved in a crime, that you have committed a crime, or will be committing a crime, and you must have that evidence, that's what your reasonable articulable suspicion must be. It must be present already before you can then require him to step out of the car and identify.
I committed a crime. Negative.
I asked what crime I committed. I'm not to ask what crime I committed.
I told you I stopped you for dead inspection. Well, no inspection, actually.
You pull somebody out of the car.
That's not a traffic infraction either. As I understand inspection tags, they're merely required to give them notice to go get it inspected. I may be wrong.
You're acting very nervous. You're shaky. For my officer's safety, that's why I had you step out of the vehicle.
And now for a warning for something that's not a traffic infraction, he uses officer safety as his excuse. Officer safety has no presence here unless he has a reason to confront the man, which again must be based on reasonable, articulable suspicion that he's committed a crime.
I got a very hurt horse that I'm getting ready to take care
Martinsburg,
of.
I'm 95 with him.
This is crazy.
You have any weapons on you? Hey, I'm gonna tell you what, Mr. Beard, go ahead and step out of the car for me.
Did I commit a crime?
Step
Don't
out of the
open my
car.
door.
Step out of the car. Martinsburg, send me another unit. He's refusing to step out of the car. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. You're under arrest for obstructing.
Excuse me?
You're under arrest for obstructing.
See, they can't give unlawful commands. And if they don't know the law, how can they give a lawful command? It's sickening, people. Here we have Trump and Joe Rogan discussing Trump and negotiations.
The previous administration and when Trump took over, and they good things or bad things about Trump all day long, but one good thing you can say is he gave the military the money that they needed.
We were negotiating with the Taliban while President Trump was still the president. President Trump looked at the Taliban leader and said this: I want to leave Afghanistan. If you harm a hair on a single American, I'm going to. The translator goes, and Trump goes, tell him this. Reached in his pocket, pulled out a satellite photo of the leader of the Taliban's home and handed it to him.
Shut up.
Got up and walked out the room. The definition of strength. That's what I'm talking about.
So, again, to defeat one's opponent without fighting is of supreme excellence. Guess what the supreme excellence is? The knowledge. Guess what the knowledge is? The knowledge is of the weakness. You know his home base, where he's weak at, what makes him weak, what gives him his strength. One of the biggest things that gives any man his strength is his family. Now, I'm not saying that was proper or anything. I don't know the rules of engagement in that entertainment forum. But I think it made reasonable sense that you just let him know that you got his back, if you know what I mean. I think that's intelligent contracting outside of the contract. Tell you what, I'm going to make a condition. I'm going to leave, and you're not going to hurt the hair off of any of our men. I think that's coming with equity. Letting him know his masculinity in its proper place. See, to defeat one's opponent without fighting is of supreme excellence, and you have a president that helped prevent or didn't have any wars during his term, and that goes to, again, Sun Tzu's Art of War, where he speaks about a true leader doesn't want any of his men being harmed, doesn't want any of his troops to die. Therefore, he does everything he can to stay out of war. Now here goes to copyrights and stuff and original content creation. This is an interesting one. I have as much interest in this one as Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, and Tom Sawyer when he went before Congress to establish the copyright laws themselves as it goes to generation skipping trusts and the inheritance of his copyright to his beneficial heirs and not to some corporatocracy that competitively outmarkets him. Through false claims, of course. So this is an interesting case where this woman was a photographer. It says, so this woman received a threatening letter. I got a note that my StreamYard dropped. Are you guys still getting me? Somebody give me a 5x5 if you're still getting me. Anybody there? Phil Wayne, welcome. JG, welcome. Am I still here, guys? Are you still hearing me? I got a note said my StreamYard dropped. All right. Got it. Thank you, guys. Luke rocks a lot. Certainly rocks a lot. Philosopher 76 in the room. Greetings, everybody. Hit the like, share, and subscribe, and let's get back to it. Thank you, Austin Murphy. Oops, wrong window. You guys understand this? Selling public domain works has always been perfectly legal. The distinction is you're supposed to give credit where credit is due. So you have to be very distinct in what your claim is. My claim is never commercial. So even though, various different sites, including the two mentioned here, Alamy and whatnot, used my sigil that you see up here in the right-hand corner and sell it for people that as a decal or sell it as a calendar emblem, things like that. I've seen stock photos with it on the bumper of a car or on the back hatch of a car. Big old decal. That very same symbol. And it came from me, folks. It's my creation. You won't find it on the internet anywhere prior to when I posted it on my Wyrd Warrior site about 3.5 years ago. Since then, Etsy and Alamy and others have used it as a public domain works. It doesn't matter if it's a copyright. What matters is if you have a copyright and you're using it for commercial purposes and their use infringes upon that. So the next one, hidden secrets. Let's see here. Hidden secrets about the Revolutionary War. This is one of my favorite topics because I urge people to understand as it relates to that 14th Amendment and all of that. The Revolutionary War wasn't so much about emancipation of the slaves, but the imports and exports through the Louisiana-Mississippi Gulf. So you see, that was a buildup to the economic warfare of the Trading with the Enemy Act. It's been going on for a long time, folks. And while we're here, I want to point out the Boston Tea Party actually being part of it. Because if you're gonna say that, hey, we're allowed to trade with whoever we want, and you have no say in it, rather than being wasteful and dumping all that tea in the fucking harbor as your protest, why would you not just use that in its normal fashion and make your just profits off of it? Instead, we have a nation with the American dream that if you have a problem, then just go ahead and be wasteful and throw it all away. No, you've already started something. Keep going. Don't let them interfere. And if they try to destroy it, you have that copyright or that talent of patent right to create your own things again. Like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to buy a Ford or a Chevy or anything like that. You can make your own car. And as a content creator, you created it. You have all authoritative rights over it. It is literally your artwork. It's been a very long game, and they're winning because you just consistently give it all up. Refuse to learn the history and see it repeating itself, and just keep doing the same damn thing your mothers and fathers did. You pay for their sins. Congress as a rich man's club. See, these are the inside traders. They're the ones that make all those bets in-house. And often we get it earlier. They not only are trading on the inside, which is the very definition of insider trading, because they're the ones legislating these trade laws and stuff, but they get that the market changes first. It's all about the economic warfare, folks. Okay, and here's another one as it goes to, the control mechanism and the masculinity of other men thinking they have control over other men, be they men, women, transgenders, whatever. Tucker Carlson, I like the guy. Oops. Oops. You're not hearing this? Come on, tell me that's not true. No sound on Tucker? All right, I'm going to go out, refresh, and come back with Tucker and see if we fix that. And welcome back. And let's see here.
That's a massive threat.
Really exposes the Australian media.
I watched your ABC this morning in my hotel room for about 20 minutes until I...
Is that better? Can we hear it now? We got a thumbs up from Luke Rockflock. Says thumbs up. All right. Let's continue on. And we got Iman Bey with us tonight.
Looked around for a vomit bag. It was one of the most gross. I couldn't even believe it was real. The first story, this is unbelievable. The Australian government's new law that will require a prescription to buy nicotine products. And we were treated to a 15-minute lecture on ABC, whatever the hell that is, about how nicotine is dangerous and we need to keep it out of the hands of Australians. And I'm like, wait a second. Nicotine, first of all, is not dangerous. That's not true. It's absolutely incorrect. You know nothing about the science, A. B, compared to what? Compared to what? Oh, we have this new synthetic opioid that's killing people. The government, not too concerned. What they're really concerned about is that people might be using nicotine, which, by the way, has the byproduct of raising testosterone levels.
And of course, oops, we've got an echo here somewhere. Is that Iman? It is. No, it's not. Yeah, it is. Iman, greetings tonight. How you doing?
All is well, beloved brother. All is well.
All right. So, nicotine, they're claiming, is dangerous. It's never been known to kill, except for the hypothesis that cancer is a killer, of course, obviously. And they say that comes from nicotine. And evidently, the science here lately is disproving that. And the fact is that they're actually putting sugar in the tobacco, which when you burn sugar, it crystallizes and causes cancer in your lungs. So do your research. Again, don't believe me. Don't believe the neighbor. Don't believe the government, for crying out loud. Don't believe your mother or Tucker Carlson. Do your research so you know. But then again, of course, you know, the testosterone levels increasing by smoking nicotine. Ladies, maybe stop smoking. Guys, you effeminate guys, maybe take up some smoking and man up, you know.
Are making people a little harder to command. That's a massive threat.
Absolutely. That's what they're afraid of. That's why they use the diversity, equity, inclusion, so they can include you in that pool that says they get to command you, because otherwise you would be an enemy.
Link to the full video is in
the next one we got.
When I went in the courtroom, you just
You're going to show me your ID.
My ID is in my pocket. You won't let me grab my ID.
Are you going to
It's
show
in my
it to me or
pocket.
not?
She just seen it.
I know, and like I said,
If I got something to hide, I wouldn't have been in the courtroom. I mean, come on. And I'm not lying.
Yeah, this is outside the courtroom after he was just in court and just leaving, and these cops walk up and now they're accosting him, demanding ID. He's done nothing. This is Gestapo.
Lying to you, Matthew Mangini. Got a CDL, Class A.
How hard was that?
It's not hard at all, but I'm not obligated to do that.
Yes, you are.
If I'm being suspected of a crime, yes, sir. If
I just told you.
I'm not being suspected. You're lying. I'm not being suspected of a crime.
Yes, you are. It's real simple.
It is simple. You could have took my word for it. I'm a man just like you.
But what is the crime? See, they can't give you the crime. They have no reasonable articulable suspicion if they can't give you the crime. That's the only way they can do that. So if they can't state this crime, then they can't possibly have reasonable articulable suspicion.
You're a man. Well, it doesn't matter. So I'm supposed to believe you, but you can't believe me? Come on, to say some mutual respect, sir. And you're a public servant. I asked you, who did you have a warrant for, and you couldn't tell me. How would you feel if somebody just walked up to you, starts grabbing you, want to know your name?
Provide the ID.
For what? You don't have to.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you just want to see if I have warrants. But I'm not being suspected of a crime.
all we want to do is
Just wanted to run him for warrants. See, he didn't have a crime.
isn't that how they get paid when with the warrants? But that already has to be predetermined prior to stopping someone.
Right. And generally, you're supposed to be able to present that guy with that warrant. So when you look over an electronic device and say, well, there's a warrant, you're supposed to detain him until the officer brings the warrant so that he can see the warrant.
Exactly, and that warrant has to be specifically written for what the search and seizure is about.
Correct. And the place and time. Oops.
Yeah, that's like in my situation, brother, just like in yours. I was stopped and I was already minding my own business, handling my own affairs, and they're saying, "Well, you're trespassing. How can I be trespassing when I paid to stay at the hotel? Come on now."
Exactly.
You're contradicting yourself.
Yep. I've already got a private contract. Now this next one is Joe Rogan again, and I like Joe Rogan too. Says Canadians cannot pay for food. Kamala Harris left speechless.
Yes, a lot of things have happened. The big one is when you rightly called out Kamala Harris.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record. I'm deeply concerned about this record. She put over 1,500 people in jail for relations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever. She blocked evidence. She blocked evidence that would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California.
Since you've been on the podcast, a lot of things.
See, and Kamala Harris is one of those people that's going to continue that same behavior, and that's because she knows, as an insider trader, dealing with United States businesses as franchise residents in the states, that state penal system is a motherfucker. They will sign right the fuck up. Look at them; they all got IDs already. That's what she's using.
Me, brother.
She's using the legal system of the identification for that economic warfare. She's in it for the money. She belongs to the streets. She's not a politician. She's not going to run any part of the government. If you think she's even got a chance of being elected, I'm going to urge you to think otherwise. The numbers, according to the quote polls, might say something, but they're false. It's just like Paul and his algorithm on his channel jumped up to 141,000. He ain't got them numbers anymore because they're false numbers.
So basically, am I hearing you say that the insider trading is based on the penal code identification, and that's where they're doing their inside trading and they're bidding by using inmates as property?
Absolutely. Inmates, citizens, residents, they're agents. And so all of their property is pledged to the state as state property while they're employed by the state for indemnification purposes. In case somebody has to make a claim, the state will say, okay, here's the property. It's located at this address. Clean his house out.
So doesn't that sound like real estate?
Absolutely. You catching on? Postal services. Everything's related to that real estate. So what is the estate and what is real about it? Now the next one we got, this is again the corrupt cops stealing your resources and stuff. Of course not, because you just got caught doing something you're not supposed to do. The law applies to thee and not to me. Oh, shit.
We don't do that here. You do that here. No, we don't. No, don't close that window. What's your name and badge?
We'll watch it again.
You open that window, boy. How would you know about anything in my personal life if you didn't run an illegal investigation, Nagel? No, you need to do your job. We need to make a report. Other police officers breaking the law. Get the notepad out. Nope. Goodbye.
This guy.
We'll watch it again. I didn't realize I didn't have the screen changed. But again, we're talking about the corrupt cops, and the law applies to thee, but not to me.
Caught these off-duty cops wearing their state-funded police gear and getting paid for a security side hustle. But watch what happens when he tries to investigate this.
Y'all decked out in police gear for this?
Yes, sir.
You're not on duty, though, are you?
Surviving, that's what I'm doing, man.
You on duty or not?
No.
Why y'all in the uniform and everything?
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I'm not gonna continue this conversation with you.
Right. That's what happens when you back cops into a corner and they're getting ready to get caught doing something illegal. We need to speak with the detective about some illegal stuff that we know about.
There's no detectives here.
We got to talk to somebody. We got to make a report on a whole group of police officers that are violating law.
Well, we don't do that here.
You do that here.
No, we don't.
No, don't close that window.
We don't do that here. Excuse me? Well, then where do we do it? To your superior? Oh, I am the superior. See how this goes? I'm the supervising officer. Oh, no, I'm talking about your superior, the commanding officer. See, that's who you have a duty to, is your commanding officer. And that commanding officer has a duty to me.
Well, isn't that commanding officer the president?
When you take it all the way up the chain, yeah.
Well, the governor, but mainly the head officer is the commander in chief.
Yep.
The president.
And that's what people don't understand with that resident. The prime resident, and you are all residents because you're in the elective pool of performance of the functions of public office. It's that simple. Now, the next one, we got Florida Sheriff Grady. This guy's awesome. I like how outspoken he is.
Congress and the executive branch. This is a secure border. This is an unsecure border. Everybody knows the difference, except for the executives and the Congress, who are absolutely, totally tone deaf. Now, for those of you who are slow learners, this is a secure border. This is another picture of an insecure, unsecure border, both. Folks, they're coming here not just to find a better way of life like many of our forefathers did, but they're coming here to kill our people while they make enormous profits. For those of you in Congress.
So what he's saying is there are two classes of people that are coming across that border. Definitely there are ones that are coming across the border that need the welfare or a way to get on in life and be prosperous and abundant. They do have an intentful purpose in that. But there are others that don't. And they're here to take advantage of a system that will allow them to do the things that they want to do to acquire what they want by any means necessary.
Now, brother, I couldn't really see clearly. I saw he had two photographs.
Right. One was with the fence and one was without a fence.
Okay, so the secured border is with the fence and the unsecured is outside of a fence.
Correct.
And so that would be like no difference if I took a picture and put it in a frame. That would be the secured border, and one without a frame is the unsecured, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, the next one we got Elon Musk, and he's another guy I like for his thoughts. Come on.
To be, or at least give support to some who would call others conspiracy theories.
Well, yes, but I mean, honestly, some of these conspiracy theories have turned out to be true.
Which one?
Well, like the Hunter Biden laptop.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, for example, even today, Elon, you tweeted this thing about George Soros. You said he wants to erode the very fabric of civilization, and Soros hates humanity. Like, do you
yeah, I think that's true. That's my opinion.
Okay, but why share it? Why?
Boom! That's my opinion. That's all it takes. Doesn't mean that's what I have any evidence of it or anything. Just my opinion.
Share it, especially because, I mean, why share it when people who buy Teslas may not agree with you? Advertisers on Twitter may not agree with you.
You know, I'm reminded of the scene in The Princess Bride, great movie, where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money, offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
You know,
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of it is losing money, so be it. I feel the same way. I don't care about your monetary system. What I care about is the value of my words and the fact that they're as true as I can comprehend. That's it. Anything less than that, I don't have a tendency to believe.
Well, brother, that's like it seems their system is all ceremonial, right? Isn't that money being created?
Absolutely. That's why they call them memorandums. So the next one. This is funny. This is called preparedness.
Has had enough of this homeowners association president coming round to issue fines.
Hey, bro, why the hell do you have a tarp here? Like, this literally makes no sense. Why do you have a tarp?
That's how I feel if you want to get nosy. I'm going to get prepared for it. I'm going to lay a tarp down, and you're going to be the dumbass that comes up and actually asks, the hell is this for? This is just totally doesn't make any sense. And then because you're a pest, the homeowner opens the door and says, for this, because you're such a pest. Keep your nose in your own business. Understand this, folks. Homeowners associations have zero authority, and they must go to the police or the courts to try to regulate yourself through something that's in a contract that doesn't even apply to you. Just because they pose as a homeowners association doesn't mean that title is in their name.
Exactly, brother. And I've seen it firsthand experience with a young woman who owned a home, and they were sending her notice, and then when she did not respond to their notice, they came to the home to assert their authority. And she was like, who the fuck are you? Why are you in my private business? You know? So yeah, they do think they have that authority.
Yeah, that's the way I put it to them around here. They want to come talk to me. You're going to talk to somebody you don't want to talk to. You better off just leave me the fuck alone. So the next one we got, this goes to animals and their perception of the one they're loyal to. And this is a basic instinctual foundation that we've lost as the human species, I think. And this is, it relates to dog training and the social roles that we play in life.
My dogs to see what people do. Literally 3 minutes later, this girl thought it would be a good idea to take off with them. She didn't even look at me. But little does she know these are Dog Daddy's fully trained dogs. Trained to not let you get too far and make you hit the floor. Pretending I'm not with my...
See, they know who Dad is. And if a stranger comes up and starts walking away with them, they'll go ahead and let him walk away with them, but only if Dad follows. If they look back a couple times and see dad's not following, they're turning around and going back to dad. That's excellent training. That's excellent social structure to let them learn how to socialize without being in fear, so that they can be confident in a person coming up and taking their lead, but only if their leader allows so. Learn how the social structures work and learn what your place in that social structure is. Ladies, I'm telling you, you don't belong out in the public like you think you do. We're supposed to protect you. And guys, you're not protecting them like you should, because otherwise they wouldn't be screaming for feminist rights. They'd be laying in that house doing as you will because you treat them like the queen they're supposed to be. And ladies, vice versa.
I so agree with you with that, brother. And you know, in my experiences, just in hindsight, I see it, and I have seen it where the men, they are allowing the women just to be out here with no protection. And now, in this time that we're in, it's like everything that they've utilized as far as technology, it's all about having control of someone's mind so they can control the the paradigm in the situation, have everybody be in conflict with one another so that the protection can't be the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and that's
Literally.
that quality of the performance of the functions of public office, oddly enough.
That's been their sole purpose is to be in control, that they have everything surveillanced,
Yep.
you know, from the minutia, you know, to the vast of everything.
Yeah, we saw that in the video earlier, the capitulation. And that's where that equity or diversity, equity, and inclusion work comes in, where they get to hypothecate and capitulate everybody's, quote, property through official documentation, which lays that presumption of the performance of the functions of public office. Everybody wants to be part of that popularity contest. They want to fill out the applications. They want to feel included. It's a play on your psyche.
Yeah, it's a play on the ones who perform, who participate.
Yes, the ones that participate not knowingly even.
But some of them do it knowingly because they believe they are going to receive some type of benefit.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Okay, so the next one, this is a law student, and he owns an off-duty cop. I understand, like the other video showed, he was off-duty, but he was in uniform working somewhere else. It's just like stolen valor. You're not supposed to do that. That's against their policy. That's actually they can get criminally charged for that, I believe. This guy here is off-duty, trying to impose that he's on duty 24/7. That's not so. You do have a duty 24/7 as it goes to criminal activity, but again, you have to have that reasonable, articulable suspicion of criminal activity first, and particularly when you're off the clock, you have to be first-hand witness, not an investigator saying that I'm off the clock and I've done some investigation here and saw this and this. No. Now you're trying to act in two different capacities.
Are you to be smart? Are you off duty? Are you an off-duty officer right
we're
now?
always on duty, ma'am.
Are you off duty right now?
Registration, and proof of insurance.
Am I being detained?
May I see your license?
Am I being detained? Am I being detained?
You're not being detained.
Okay, then I will see. You have a good day.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I'll see you.
Are you off?
To be smart?
Are you off duty? Are you an off-duty officer right
we're
now?
always on duty, ma'am.
Are you off duty right now?
Registration, and proof of insurance.
Am I being detained?
May I see your license?
Am I being detained? Am I being detained?
You're not being detained.
Okay, then I will see. You have a good day.
You're not being detained. Third time she asked, he finally answered, you're not being detained. These people have no authority, even if they're on the clock. But if they're off the clock, even less.
But I agree too, Brother Keith, because he just incriminated himself by saying they're on duty 24/7 when it's only 50% of the time, right?
Well, at least
At
50%
least.
of its use.
Right.
Which, if you're going to use it for time clock, you would have a time span on there. But yeah. So the last one I got here, ladies and gentlemen, comes to the real difference between men and women when it comes to money. Now, whether you want to recognize it or not, there is a distinct difference, and I'm not going to say it's across the board because I do recognize women out there that are actually the breadwinners of the household. I do recognize there are a few of them, but far fewer than the other way around. And again, this is because there's a major problem in that, as I see it, women, you don't belong out in the public. You don't belong in the streets. So let's take a look at it.
Make money, we understand that we could provide for a family. When women make money, they say a lot of the things you guys have said. We're independent, we're bosses, we don't need men. Men don't make money for the purposes of being independent. As a matter of fact, it's the other way around. We make money for the purpose of other people to be dependent on us. Yep. The difference between men and
we make money for the purpose of being able to provide the protection for a nice queen that will then bring in our legacy heirs. That's our main purpose in life, ladies. Let us do it. Let us do it.
and women is when men make money, we understand that we could provide for a family. When women make money, they say a lot of the things you guys have said. We're independent, we're bosses, we don't need men. Men don't make money.
See, women tend to do it for their own selfish reasons. And this is why we have things like OnlyFans. And they have all these men that give them all this money. And they think they're successful. But no man wants them to have children with them. They don't have a man out there that's going to see him as a queen. Very few of them anyway. Again, that's not across the board, but very few of them. Go ahead, sister.
You know, brother, it reminds me, I was watching this video that popped up on my phone. The woman was a judge, and the husband and wife, well, actually, it was a couple. And the young woman was taking her fiance to court because she said she had very high standards, and if they are going to come together as husband and wife in one household, her standard is he's got to be bringing in $100,000, you know, into the situation. So then the judge mentioned to her, well, if you have high standards and he has to bring forth the $100,000, that's what he has to bring to the table. What are you bringing to the table? And she didn't have an answer because she just felt because he was a man, he was supposed to do certain things. But then her standard was so high above, the judge said, well, if you're setting your standards that high as the bar, I don't think you're ever going to find a man. And I don't think this man is worthy of marrying you because you're just setting everything outside the bounds. This is all about you. And
Yeah.
just literally what you said made all the sense in the world.
Well, yeah, and again, it's not across the board. I recognize there are women, like I said, that are they're breadwinners and they take on that role. But again, I don't believe it's their role to be doing that. The man is the one that's supposed to be protecting, and the woman is the one that's supposed to be protected. If she's going out into the world, he's staying at home, he can't protect her. And again, obviously, if he is going out into the world and she's going out into the world too, how is he supposed to be able to protect her without having to expand his range of protection? Now he's got to protect her out in public as well as at home. And that can be overbearing. That can take too much of his time. And that can take time away from the children, as we see many times. Both parents working outside of the home and they have to hire a babysitter. And now it causes even more things they got to protect and protect from. Because now you've got a foreigner involved in there. Same with your retirement homes when you're sending your mom and dads. Go ahead.
Well, that's exactly what they've done to the system. If they can split up the home, the man and the woman in the home, for them to be able to bringing other people, the man can't protect everything. His first protection is to protect his family, his immediate family first. And if
Yep.
he's out there being the provider and he's being the breadwinner, then most likely the woman is going to play her part to complement what he's doing on the outside. And he, in turn, is complementing by protecting and doing what he needs to do for his family on the inside. So that's a win win situation, I believe.
Yeah, and it makes everybody's job easier. But particularly if you've got a man that can handle everything in the public and a woman at home that can help organize it for him to be able to handle it out in public and bring to the table what she needs to at home in providing the cleanliness and things like that, you know. And I know it sounds misogynistic, but I really don't care because I don't believe it to be misogynistic. It's, I would rather and would be more protective of a woman that would stay home. It would help substantiate that loyalty to myself by her not wanting to desire to go out and be amongst those other people, including those other men. That's where she falls. That's where she ends up eating that apple from the tree. That's the lesson of Adam and Eve in the garden. You want to protect her, you have to protect her from a serpent. You can't let her do the things she's not supposed to do. So when she brings you an apple, you have to question where she got it if you weren't with her. If you were with her and you watch her pick that apple, you're just as guilty. If you weren't with her and you don't question it, you do take it, even though it's in good faith, you're still guilty. This is like owning or having possession of stolen property. Same thing. Same thing as stolen valor. You're not supposed to be doing certain things, and you already have a conscionable note that you're not supposed to do them because that would be pretending. See, you're not supposed to pretend. You're not supposed to perform like you're in an act. That's for entertainment of theatrical audiences. In real life, you're supposed to be real. And with that, we come to the end of the show. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Appreciate it. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. And I want to remind you there's a PayPal link in the details for anybody who wants to share some love. Every little bit is helpful. Find it worthwhile. Throw some love. What do you got, Iman?
Well, the only thing I have to say, brother, is that we're now in the 888, August 8th, the 8th month of 2024 is when you add the 2 and the 4, that's 6, and 2 is 8. So I guess we're going to be going through a new cycle.
Yep.
I'm right along with you.
Awesome. Awesome. And my quote birthday is August 20th, coming up here in 12 days. So that's a note. And then of course today is, like she said, 8/8, birthday of one of my cousins. And then my two sisters and my mom both have birthdays in August, 11th, 12th, and 13th. So the birthdays in August for my family are numerous. And that might be why a lot of us butt heads, all being Leos. So I don't know if you go by those kind of things. But anyway, you guys know me. I love you. And I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. That's to say, I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect me. That's on you. So may God bless you and have a good night. We'll see everybody next time. Bye now.